Welcome to another Horror Never Dies special presentation. I apologize straight up for the delay. I fucking passed the fuck out. I overslept a little bit, but it's all good. We're gonna get right into it. Um, we got a terrifying triple feature tonight. We're gonna be talking about Final Destination first, then Bring Her Back, and then we're gonna wrap things up with 28 days years later, because I definitely think that's going to be something worth talking about.
Mm.
Um, but to kind of get right into things, Final Destination Bloodlines that came out last month, like the middle of May or so. Um, how did you feel about Final Destination Bloodlines before you went and saw it? Like, what was your
Oh,
expectation?
before I went and saw it, I had no expectations because before that, a friend of mine had we collabed on his channel and watched the other movies. And it's been a while since I watched those Final Destination movies, and I watched like all five of them. And I was like, yeah, I was expecting something silly, goofy, stupid. I just said, I pray it's better than the Final Destination that came out in 2009 because that was a heaping pile of dog shit. So I had no expectations going into this movie at all. I was just like, well, I just hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's the same for me because like I haven't really been impressed by like a Final Destination since like the second one. I like the third one. That was probably like the last one I really enjoyed. But yeah, but then this one came out and just completely, yeah, just
We,
did
you
something
didn't like
completely different.
five? You didn't like? I thought five was pretty
I mean,
good.
I just didn't. I haven't rewatched in like years, so it's like, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, I don't even feel like rewatching it, but I might now because it's like, I'm kind of more invested now, just with the story and how they're connecting things, and
Right.
that's what was cool about Bloodlines, where it's just like they mainly made it about this family, which it was pretty interesting, that approach, compared to previous films where it's kind of like the same thing. Somebody has the premonition and shit like that, and the rest is history. But this time around, that they actually do something, you know, different, and just actually have a bunch of characters and making the family interesting, like all these different characters interesting, and I think that's what made it kind of really work at its core.
Yeah. I thought the movie was a pleasant surprise. It had no business being as good as it was. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like this shit's actually really good. And like you said, it did a fresh take on a familiar formula. Because all the Final Destination movies have a formula that they stick to, but this time they kept it like how they kept to the formula, they kept the code, but they put a twist on it. So like the whole thing in the beginning where the premonition took place like way back in the day, and then the whole family and all that stuff. So I thought all that stuff was pretty cool, and the characters were actually not as annoying this time around as they usually are either. So I thought that was a plus as well.
Cool, cool. Yep, yep. Give me a second. I don't know why like StreamYard has all these options. Just anyways. But yeah, shout out to Terrence. You know what I'm saying? Pulling up. We ain't nobody forget about you, Terrence. I'll hit you
Man,
up next. I'll hit you up for next week. Next week is gonna be should be important. But
humans are trash. Humans are trash.
but yeah, Bloodlines did really well. Also on the box office and stuff. I think it had like what 250 something million or something like that. That
Something
was
like
really
that.
good. It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
record high for the franchise, which is really good. But yeah, like I said, like I really like how they mess with the lore. So now it's just like they can continuously make Final Destination movies for forever. If they really wanted to, they could probably make one like every year or two or something like that, with just different casts and different people. Because even when you get to like the end credits where you see all the newspaper articles and stuff like that, you can go into one of those and can kind of get kind of set up a different story or something like that. You
I
know.
don't know. In a way, bro, as much as I enjoyed this movie, I kind of wanted to be the last one just because like they really got it right. And these movies are really hit and miss. So I don't know. I have a funny feeling if they try to capitalize off the success of this one, the next one be like the 2009 one, you know. And then, not to mention, this was the last time we seen Tony Todd, and I couldn't believe I was getting emotional watching a Final Destination joint with Tony Todd's last scene. Like, Perp, I don't know about you, man. That kind of got me a little bit because he was breaking the fourth wall and saying goodbye to the audience, you know what I'm saying, to the fans. And from what I read, the director gave him permission to do that. He said, look, man, you know, just totally freestyle this. Whatever you want to say it. And that was his send off. So I'm like, look, Tony Todd's like the Stan Lee of this universe. You know what I mean? I feel like we can't have these movies without Tony Todd in there in some way, shape, or form. So I think this should be the last one, bro.
That's true. You know, Tony Todd had a great scene. You know, say that's how gracefully, respectfully, close out a character like that. I wish they could have done that for T'Challa, but it's what it is. We're not here to talk about Marvel, but
right.
just little details. But I like this movie. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you're right, but Hollywood. You see something making X amount of money. You know what I'm saying? This making too much money for them, so they're gonna just keep doing it till
Well,
that money runs out.
Let me ask you, what was your favorite kill?
I don't really want to say that. What was that fucking machine? Whatever. That fucking
the MRI machine.
Yeah, I don't want to say. I feel like that's everybody's favorite, but I honestly like the opening. I like the opening because it's like that's terrifying. Like you're on this fucking building that's thousands of feet in the air and there's like a glass floor. Like, why would anybody dance on that floor? I don't get it. And a little bastard kid with the fucking penny that,
yeah,
his little problem child. Yeah, I liked it though. I liked it. What up, Zach? What up, Zach?
What up? Well, I think the MRI scene. I think that's my okay. The MRI death is my favorite one, but the one that made me laugh the most was the bitch that got kicked in the head with the soccer ball.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
She fell in the trash can. Man, I was in there laughing my ass off, bro.
Yeah, and if they were to make a second one, well, not a second one, but another one, like a follow up to this, like I could see a scenario where, how it ended, like with that train and stuff like that, that could have been like a premonition or something like that. I could see them like started off like, oh, that shit was all like a dream. If they wanted to bring these characters back, if that was the case, but I think them kind of having these like standalone but still connected to everything else would be interesting. You don't have to necessarily have to bring back the same characters. You could bring back new characters to keep it fresh and stuff like that. But we'll see what they do in the future. But just wanted to quickly talk about Final Destination Bloodlines. Let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments below. Where do y'all have it as far as favorite horror movie of the year? Is it high on the list? Below? In the middle? Somewhere? Let me know.
I think I have it on. Look at my letterbox. I think I have that number one like as far as horror movies this year. I think.
Yeah, I think I have it at. I think it's still in my top 20.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the low, somewhere close to 20, but somewhere around there. So my 20s.
And I feel funny saying that, bro, because Final Destination, these are like, intentionally almost bad movies, but I'm like, this shit had no business being this good. Yeah, I think I got that as my top horror movie of the year so far, followed by Ugly Stepsister.
Yeah, Ugly Stepsister is really dope. But my favorite horror movie so far this year was the next movie we're about to talk about is Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back. The same brothers that brought us the Talk to Me movie. You know what I'm saying? I think they're doing a great job with just two movies out so far, just that are distinctly different. Loosely somewhat connected because they do take place in the same universe. That
Right.
was confirmed. Um, but I like how it's like subtle. It's not like, oh yeah, we gotta, you know, this is how we're gonna get people in. Like, oh, here's this little talk to me, but it's just very subtle, or just like it's in like on like one of their websites or something like that that like promotes the movie. Like, there's all these little like things and stuff like that, like little vlogs or something like you can go through, and they show you different like little clips, and you see one of the clips has the hand from Talk to Me and stuff like that, which is
Mm.
really cool.
Well, I want to.
And
I'll make a correction. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about Sinners. Yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting Sinners is a horror movie. Yeah, yeah. I have Sinners as number one. Yeah, my bad. My bad. I had to correct that.
yes, and people, Sinners is a horror movie. I keep seeing people trying to say that's not a horror movie, but
It is. It
it's a
is.
horror movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? However you want to cut it, it's horror. Like,
Yeah.
but bring her back. Sally Hawkins, man. Sally Hawkins needs to get some type of award recognition because the way she um the way her performance went in this movie was just incredible. Even the kids that were in this stuff were dope too, but Sally Hawkins definitely like stole the show
Mm.
for sure. Like, she felt like the main character to me. Um, there were some funny moments that, you know, you're not supposed to laugh, but it just came out of nowhere, and it's just like when she was standing over her on her bed and just punches her in the fucking punches old girl in the fucking eye. That shit was fucking crazy. You know what that scene reminded me before she did that? I was like, yo, this shit just kind of just. I was starting to have that Camp Sleepaway PTSD and shit, like
Mm.
where old girl was just sitting there at the end of the movie, just staring. But that
Yeah.
was really that was an incredible kind of experience. How did you feel about it? I know I see your review and stuff, but
All right. So here's where we split. Bring Her Back is not the worst movie I've ever seen, but Bring Her Back was a disappointment because I agree. Sally Hawkins did a great job. The kid, like everybody, did a phenomenal job as far as performances. There was really scenes of tension, and the slow burn didn't bother me because I knew it was building up to something, and a lot of scenes
yeah,
were a lot of shit was very effective, especially the grapefruit scene with the knife. All right,
yeah, that was crazy.
that was one of the few times I had to turn my head. But bro, what fucked this movie up for me was the landing. I'm like, all the bad shit and listen, I understand, yeah, she's mourning her daughter and all that stuff there, but bro, she did some despicable shit in this movie to those kids, especially that boy. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Well, the little demon boy, and then the foster brother. You know what I'm saying? She did some heinous shit to those kids, and I felt like the payoff wasn't. It was like Kathy Bates getting away with Misery. That's what it felt like to me. Like the whole shit
mm.
with her being in the pool with their dead daughter. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not satisfied. I understand what the message that they're trying to convey, but I'm like, I'm not sad that she needed more than what she got, and I walked out that movie mad. I was like, God damn
I
it, they
feel
didn't
like
stick the landing.
I I feel like I kind of disagree because I feel like they did, cause especially like watching it the second time, and like that ending kind of makes more sense now because like she's always just kind of wanted that connection. You know what I'm saying? And looking at the ending, it's kind of really dark. I actually kind of got emotional because it's like you're not supposed to sympathize with Laura's character, but like at the same time you understand like if I was a parent or I could see somebody like you like people would go do whatever they could to just bring back somebody that they love, you know, and rewatch that you kind of just knowing what's coming next, and you're looking at Laura's character, it's just like you could tell that she was low key starting to get attached to these characters, like
Yeah.
Piper and all them. But she understands, like, yo, I need to still do this, and you know, you kind of see that, yeah, she's willing to do these despicable things. You know what I'm saying? For just the sake of the love of her daughter, and she can never bring her back. You know, and I feel like that was like kind of like the message right there that just like because I kind of started to look at more from like her perspective, like this was like really her movie. It was really like Laura's movie with the, you know, Piper and her brother and stuff like that. And even Piper's seeing Andy die and stuff like that. That was pretty tragic and stuff like that. But he was still able to do what he needed to do to kind of save Piper in some type of way and stuff like
I
that.
mean,
With the
that's what I'm saying. Per all the she did that. All that shit was despicable, man. Then that little boy's fucked up for life. Think about it. That
yeah,
boy,
he was.
that boy's fucked up for life, man. And then so we're supposed to be okay with her having, like when she was drowning Piper, and then she had that epiphany, like, oh my god, what have I done? What have I done? Now we're supposed to sympathize with this bitch after what she did to that boy, and then to see her in the pool with it, like, I don't care, no,
And
like,
it's
fuck
like, and
no.
I don't think she was thinking like regretting what she was doing. She thought she actually, I'm saying, like she like Piper tricked her. That's what happened at the end of it. Like Piper kind of tricked her, and like all she wanted to really do was hear, like, because they set that up earlier in the like I said, the breadcrumbs was there because
Yeah.
like that was the whole connection. Like she just wanted her daughter to call her mom one more time, like, what I'm saying. And I think that kind of triggered something in her at that moment. And I think people are going to interpret differently, but like I looked at it as like, her realizing that, I won't be able to bring her back, and her just kind of surrendering to her wounds and stuff. And she's like, I'm just gonna, end my life right here with my daughter and stuff like that. And
Well,
and
first
probably
off,
she probably definitely has regrets and stuff like that. Like just kind of, it's all kind of coming down on her. She's like, what the fuck am I doing type shit. And
I,
because
I need
because like even when you're watching like the videos, it's like, bro, she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Man, I don't know. I needed more restitution, man. I felt like I'd have felt better if she at least got a broken arm or a twisted toe or maybe a teeth knocked out or something. Something needed to happen. And this is no knock to the actress,
Mhm.
like, because she did such a great job that I did dislike her character. But I'm like, damn, can we get like a slap in the face or something? Like I feel like she walked away unscathed,
Mhm. I
and
well, I would say unscathed, like I said, because Oliver did attack her and stuff like that, so she was already kind of bleeding out and stuff like that. So
yeah,
she was
yeah,
already kind of like, she was already kind of like dying slowly, and she just kind of, you know made the process, like quickened up the process a little bit by like opening up the wound even further,
right,
because really realizing that she failed.
yeah.
And so that's why I was like, yeah, that shit was kind of like emotional, because it's just like, damn, like she really just believed that she could bring back her daughter in any
Mm-hmm.
type of way and stuff like that. And it was a fucked up way how her daughter died and shit too. That's why I was just like, man, it's just like they low key try. Like I know some people might not like want to sympathize with her, but like I get it at the same time. It's fucked up and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But that I feel like that's what's like kind of like interesting about her character, that she is like that. I think she's going to be an interesting like villain to be talked about in like 10, 15, 20 years from now and stuff like that. She's definitely on that Tony Collette kind of
Yeah,
kind of wave.
yeah,
But that's what I really liked about just these brothers Styles, that like they're not afraid to make a dark ending and stuff like that. It's not like they haven't made like, they'll make generic Hollywood endings and stuff like that. They haven't really done that, and they're not afraid to get brutal with the shit. And I really appreciate like the gore that they bring to these movies and stuff like that. And I think they
right.
do a really good job with the
Well,
practical stuff.
and I want to say this too. Like I said, I guess I got passionate because I did have a connection to these characters. So I wish we could have got Piper and her brother, walking off into the sunset and starting a new life. You know what I'm saying? But then this
Mhm.
bitch fucked the boy's life up. You know what I'm saying? Like she tortured that boy, man, and then took him away from Piper. So
Mhm.
even though Piper got away, then the little boy, the little demon boy, got away. But I'm like, no, she needed more for that, because I was really rooting for those characters to get out of this shit.
Hey, but that what was it? I think it's just like a guidance counselor or something like that. She got it though. Oh damn! Like she
Man,
took
yeah,
the brunt of that fucking that hit, and I was just like, and I felt
right,
bad for Andy, because it's like, damn, like that is like, damn, like he was like barely could breathe and stuff, like he was just wheezing, and it's
right.
just like, damn, I was just like, damn, and just how you say, like I was expecting, like, yeah, them two to walk off into the sunset, but it's just like Andy had to be that sacrificial lamb, and he's had a
Yeah.
and and when they reveal like the shit that him and his father was doing and shit like that, it
Right.
makes his story even more tragic. It's just like, yeah, he technically, you could say he didn't have like a quote unquote happy ending, but I think he still did something to kind of help Piper kind of get the fuck out of there. You know what I'm saying? Did enough.
He did, but she needed more though, man. I
Mm,
wanted to see her get her shit wrecked, and I'm like, man, that's how we ended in the pool with the damn daughter. That's it.
mm.
Nah, wasn't feeling that.
Yeah, so like I hope, but like I hope Sally Hawkins gets some type of award recognition because I definitely think she had one of the strongest performances this year for sure, just from start to finish. Like just from off rip when they pull up to the crib and you see like this white chalk or just you start to see the fucking what was the taxidermy stuff. I was like, all right, she on some Norman Bates shit,
Right.
and just off rip, like she's going through motherfuckers' phones. Um, Pissing in bottles and throwing it on and like that whole shit was really smart though. Like just how she was able to kind of like manipulate both of them, even
Mm-hmm.
down to like using the axe spray and stuff and like and knowing that she's visibly impaired and stuff like that. And I think they did a lot of creative things um with that alone. And because just imagine being in like Piper's situation, like and like you just can't see and you don't know what the fuck's going on and you don't know what to believe and to see like Andy get kind of set up like that was really fucked up and whatnot. But
That's why she needed her shit wrecked.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But I'm definitely 50-50. But like I really enjoyed that movie. Like that's like the only movie I gave like a 4.5 stars for sure. But yeah, I want to see what they do with Talk to Me too and whatever
Are
they
they doing
got.
to talk to me too?
Yeah, yeah, that's supposed to come out like next year.
All right. All
Um,
right.
yeah, so I'm excited to see what these brothers do next. If they stay in horror, if they decide to just do one more horror movie and then kind of take a break, go into comedy or some shit like that. But I just think they definitely have a talent within the horror space. They always bring in something unique and fresh. Even how they handle like the possession angles of this movie, like they don't try to overly explain it. And I like that it's kind of messy. Like I said, like, Laura just doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She's like looking through all these different tapes, just kind of doing like Satanist for dummies type shit, and you know what I'm saying. But
I'm
I,
saying
I'm
this for
I'm looking
dummies.
for
That's funny.
yeah, yeah. But let me know in the comments below y'all thoughts on Bring Her Back. We're gonna get into the main event of things. 28 years later.
Oh Lord.
Man, I've been waiting to kind of get your thoughts on this because this is definitely like a divisive film. I think a
Mm.
lot of people going in before anything like were excited about this movie. It's been a long time. Alex Garland and Danny Boyle coming back. They haven't been together since 28 Days Later, and I made sure I watched like 28 Days Later. I was trying to watch 28 Days and Weeks before years just so I could kind of refresh my memory.
Mm.
But you don't necessarily have to watch those two to kind of enjoy this one, and that's what I kind of liked about like just the 28 franchise is that like they could kind of just plop you in any kind of time period around this time, and just like kind of have a different cast and characters and all that stuff. Like, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype. Like the trailer was really fucking good. One of the best trailers of the year for sure. And then the movie comes out, and definitely not what I expected. And I'm willing to give the movie the benefit of the doubt, but I want to know your thoughts. What were your thoughts of 28 years later going in, and how did you feel about after you watched it?
Ooh, boy. All right, where do I begin? All right, going in, I was expecting. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this franchise. Like, I thought 28 Days was alright. Like, you could tell it was really low budget. 28 Weeks I thought was pretty good. Surprisingly. So coming into this, I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And yeah, the first 30 minutes of the movie were really fucking good. I will give it that. The first 30 minutes with the whole thing with Aaron Taylor Johnson and his son in the woods and shit, and his Jedi training, I thought was on point. And then after they get back, that's when the movie took a turn and became like Beyond Thunderdome, where the shit just fucking lost me. It just became you know what I'm saying? It became a totally different movie. And I'm like, I felt like an evil person. I had Terrence's voice in my head telling me that I'm a trash human because I wanted this boy and his mama to die for the remainder of the film. I wanted them to die. I hated the mom and I hated the son. And then on top of that, I'm
Damn.
getting irritated. And then on perp, then I'm getting irritated because I'm seeing more zombie dicks than I need to see. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
that's
you
just crazy.
actually,
I was like,
right.
bro, I don't want to run into no alpha, bro. I don't want to run into no fucking alpha. That shit is haunting. That shit is haunting, bro. I was just like,
That's,
why did you have to angle like the camera like that? It was just
oh
like
my god.
you can't
The,
unsee it now.
the amount of zombie dicks was incredible, man. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, we don't need this, bro. So yeah,
Yeah.
if I were to rate this off the first 30 minutes to me would have been like an A. Like, I really enjoyed that. And then
Hmm.
from that point on, that this boy think like he failed his first day in Dagobah. You know what I'm saying? Had the Dagobah training, you failed. Now you think you have the testicular fortitude to take your mama out there by yourself? You
Yeah,
know,
he was trying.
he
He
was
was wilding. He was wilding. He was
he was
doing. He was doing
wilding,
too much.
man.
He was
He
doing
was
too
doing,
much.
yeah. So
And then you
I
realize
wasn't
that. Then you realize, oh yeah, like once they get to the doctor and shit, like
right,
fucking, she's about to die of cancer, which is like you might as well just die of fucking. The cure is probably going to be the right. It would have been probably like the rage virus and shit like that, but
yeah, and wait, and I also thought it was weird too how after the doctor did the whole predator shit where he took her skull and then cleaned it and shit, and then he takes the skull and puts it on top of the thing and kisses it.
that was
I'm
crazy.
like, what the fuck am I watching,
And I
man?
know, that's the highlight for me. Like, there's certain highlights. Like, I like Ray Fiennes' character, Ralph Fiennes' character, like, because in the world of just in this world where it's just like people have gone insane, I feel
Right,
like this is the way. Like, I feel like the way he goes about it is kind of actually is kind of interesting,
right.
and the way
Yeah,
they kind of set it up, they made it seem like he was like this mad doctor or this like crazy person, but nah, he's probably like the most sane person
most
there.
thing,
Like,
yeah. I don't know. He kind of puts me in the mind of Marlon Brando's character from Apocalypse Now. Like, I don't know what I thought
mm.
about his character when I was watching him. And then the one guy, well, the best character to me was that Eric character.
Yo,
And
I really thought that. I was like, yo, they're gonna set these two up. They're gonna be, what I'm saying, in the
right,
sequel and shit like that. They're
nah,
gonna form a. Yeah, I was like, no.
Eric got so all because of who? The mama and that dumbass son. Like
Yeah,
when that's up with the zombie birth, which I've never seen a zombie give birth,
that
but
shit was weird. I was just like, what was that? Like that women's intuition, like we are women, and then like then it starts to attack, and like, and maybe like that's why it's like they need to kind of explain that more. Like, is the affected like all the infected kind of like evolve in some way, or just they have somewhat of their humanity still left in them?
right.
Like that's one thing. It's just like they didn't really kind of go into more, and I was like that. That's why I was like, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, this is the start of a trilogy, and like I said, that this could all be leading somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to
Yeah,
like wait to see the full story and how everything connects because like we could like the Bone Temple could be much better and just like kind of bring things full circle because I know a lot of people really hate the ending of this movie. Even though the more I think about it, like it's a very bold way to end the movie. Very and it's a very risky too because like you could definitely lose your audience. A lot of people kind of like checked out after that.
I did. I,
Um,
I rolled my eyes, bro. Well, first of all, when he kissed the mama's skull, I rolled my eyes, and then we saw Remick
mm.
at the end. I said, "Wait a minute, ain't that Remick?" I said, what the
Mhm.
fuck? I said, what the hell's going on?
That was the
I said, these motherfuckers have been at the whole time.
yeah, because you remember like, and I feel like that was another thing. Like we brought this up. Like they have all these different subplots, and we're doing all these setups for future movies and stuff like that. Like in the opening scene, I think the opening scene could have been done better because
Right.
that was Jimmy, the little blonde boy, whatever. Like that was Jimmy at the end. Like that's Reming's character and stuff. Where it's just like, all right, we need a little bit more explanation, and like I said, it could very much be a thing where it's like we look at these characters, like there's that the whole kind of saying that it was like almost like some Power Ranger shit,
Right.
and like I said, like we could get the second movie, and like these characters are really fucking dope, and like maybe it's like I'm cool, and I think I'm cool with them kind of inserting uh some humor into these movies. Like let's get a little silly, you know what I'm saying, a little over the top, and then we actually kind of sit down with Jimmy's character or Jack O'Connell's character, we see that like nah, he's actually a badass character and really dope, and I think that's what they're going to end up doing, setting that up for those characters, and like they're going to do something dope with them in the following movie because you got to do something to kind of bring people back and do something in that sequel that kind of is going to bring some of those hardcore fans of the franchise back into it. Now, a lot of people just really like this movie just stylistically. I do respect Danny for doing that, like trying to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it didn't really work for me, like a lot of um, those weird like camera angles or just how you go about doing these kill scenes and stuff like that were a little confusing and kind of gave me a headache. It was a little like just a lot of like I would rather just shake a cam at times,
Yeah,
but.
I think that's that UK. That's that UK shit, man. They just do things differently over there as far as filming techniques
Mhm.
go. Yeah.
There was some cool, like I said, there's some cool moments. I think the highlight for me, that made it just made me give it 3 stars. It saved it from being like 2.5 stars. Is is the whole scene between Spike and his mom. And I was like, that was really dope, and that's where you should have ended the movie right there. And then you can kind of like have the opening scene be these fucking crazy ass ninjas and stuff like that for the second movie and stuff like that. But
Wait, you talking about when you kiss the skull?
yeah, when it like when he found out about his mom having cancer and you know um getting that euthanasian kind of thing, kind of he didn't want to. I like that. I feel like that's where the movie should have kind of stopped, and then we kind of just picked that up because then like at the end it's just like how the fuck did he get over there and give the baby.
Right.
That's a whole other like thing too. So it's just like, was this chick like infected 9 months prior, and or are these infected not having babies? Like that'd be fucking weird.
Well, yeah. Well, I thought the rule too with that little colony, or whatever, was that they won't take any outsiders or whatever. So they don't know what this fucking baby has. Even though I know it's a baby and shit, but I mean, it's probably most likely going to end up being infected. As it gets older. You know what I mean? Like the fly. But I
Yeah,
don't know, and even his decision to like, what was the whole point of him? Like he hates his dad that much that he's just willing to turn his back on the whole fucking colony and just be out there on his own with these fucking things. I'm like, what the
yeah.
fuck is up with this kid?
I don't understand kids. Maybe it's like a teenager thing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And like, and he should have kind of been in Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. Should have just been like a little bit. Should have been more straight up because it seemed
right.
like everybody knew about his mom's condition, but him. So
Yeah,
I could see him being kind of upset about that. It's just like, damn, you could have just told me, type shit.
right.
And I think that kid has potential though. I think he definitely has potential. I want to see what they do moving forward. Like, what is the ultimate goal here with this trilogy? I think that's the one thing that I think this movie didn't land on is like, where are we going with this? Because we know that this is an isolated incident. It's only happening in the UK or just in Europe and stuff like that. Everywhere else in the world is kind of cool, which I wish they kind of went more into it. Maybe like 28 years later could have been better as like a series, maybe because then we
I can
could
see
kind of
that.
die.
I can see
Yeah, but
that.
then like at the same time, I was just like, this deserves to be on the big screen. At the same time, it's like it's a huge franchise, so. But
Well,
I just have to we'll have to wait and see what they do with this next one. But what were you gonna say?
well, no, I was gonna address Zach real quick. Okay, yeah, they didn't say they won't take outsiders. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I felt that because to me, the best scene in the movie was when Aaron Taylor Johnson and the son were running, and that fucking Alpha was running after them. I thought that
Mm,
shit was that was intense. That was the best scene in the movie for me, man. But when they
yeah, that
got
was
to the
good.
wall, yeah, when they got to the wall and they're like, okay, let us in, and she was looking to see like if they were fucked up, you know. So you could tell they're really reluctant on letting anybody in that they have to check them out. So the fact that this random baby pops up, and then even if the note says that the mother was infected, but the baby's okay. I'm supposed to take your word for it that the baby's okay just to
Right.
your little punk ass say, like, no, I'm
Yeah,
taking that baby
that
out.
baby could have that baby
What?
could turn into like a little infected, like on some Demons 2 type shit.
Yeah, man, I'll punt that little motherfucker over that wall so quick.
but
You crazy?
like I said, they introduce a lot of things that are just like, yeah, these need payoffs in the
Yeah.
previous movies. They gotta really hit um hit people strong this next movie, and a lot of things kind of are rubbing me the wrong way. I think about how they're doing this trilogy, even though it's planned. I feel like this trilogy just needs one director because I know the next one is going to be Nia DaCosta is going to be directing the second one,
Nia
which
DaCosta.
I'm
That name
kind of like.
sounds familiar.
She did the Marvels and she did the Candyman, the
Okay, all
terrible Candyman movie.
right. Your favorite joint of 2022.
I hated that shit. I was just like, man, I was just like, when I see Nia DaCosta, I was just like, and I think she has an interesting style, but she hasn't made a good horror movie, in my opinion, for me to
Yeah.
sit there and say like, all right, she's the one to kind of bring shit back and really
Mhm.
do something crazy with the sequel. But um, I'm a little just worried about the direction, and they said they don't have funding for a third movie just yet, which
Mhm.
is kind of weird. But um, and the fact that the sequel's coming out in January, if that date doesn't change, that just lets me know that
Right.
studios just want to kind of dump this shit out of there, and this follow up might not be as this might be as worse, or it might get worse from here.
I don't know.
Probably.
Do you think they're gonna take a page out of because I did see some Walking Deadisms in this movie where I'm like, okay, I see the parallels between this and the Walking Dead, with the
There,
different colonies and groups and shit.
yeah, there's definitely that parallel when rewatching 28 Days Later. I was like that whole opening and how
Mhm.
Rick wakes up in the hospital and stuff. I was like, okay. But yeah, it's definitely some influences there. Some
Right.
Last of Us and stuff like that. I like this. I like this movie more than The Last of Us. At least, like what I'm saying, it's a little bit more interesting, and the world's a lot more threatening. And what I'm saying, any wrong step, like you could fucking die, or you run into an alpha, and he ends
Right.
up ripping your skull
Yeah.
out your body and
On
taking your
fire.
spine with you on some
Right.
fucking predator. I thought I was like, yo, is this a fucking predator? But
Predator. Yeah, that's Predator all the way. Yo, Predator with a big dick. You know,
no diddy, no diddy, no.
I'm like, dog. The abundance of dicks in this movie. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, am I watching Superbad right now? Like, I was like,
Oh
what is up
man.
with white people and their obsession with penises? Like, I don't get it, man.
I don't. Yeah, but I was having that conversation with somebody recently. I'm like, lately we see a lot of dicks in movies and stuff, but we don't see as many titties as we used to. I said, why is it we
Nope,
seeing more dicks than titties lately, man? I don't understand.
because the Me Too movement.
Yeah, ain't that some shit? Well, listen, me too. I don't want my junk exposed. Okay, I'm offended.
Yeah, yeah. Nah,
God.
but yeah, it's just like and I was like debating today if I was like I wanted to rewatch this movie, but I was like, bro, I don't want to be scarred by that shit. Like, I
Yeah.
just need like a cut where they don't be showing this man's peen, like
All that.
what
Yeah,
I'm
we don't need that, man. We don't need it.
saying. Because I was like, yeah, because I was gonna go see it in Dolby. I was just like, there's like, all right, all the seats are pretty much full besides like the first two rows. I was like, let me sit. I was gonna sit up in the row B. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna set myself up with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not that close to the screen.
Look, that and Perp, that's how close I was when I saw that hairy nipple, man. Now you see why I hated Barbarian so much.
Hey, Harry Nipple ain't that bad.
I know, compared to a big ass zombie dick in your face, man. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
That's just crazy. That shit was unnecessary. I don't want. We don't need to see all that. Like, hopefully, if they make a sequel, we don't need to see like below the waist type shit. Like, we don't need to do all that. You know.
Well, at least darken it, you know, so it's not as visible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just crazy. But between that and the Power Ranger shit, it's just like, yeah, this movie is insane. And maybe like that, like a lot of people are going to be cool with that, you know, and you could kind of expect that in like a zombie apocalypse, like at this time, like 28 years later, you know, it's gonna breed a completely different type of humans. Like you got people in isolated islands and um different factions, and I do want to see like more involvement, or maybe not so much, but see how other people outside of the UK, their reactions to this. Like I want to see kind of more of what's going on, how everybody else in the world is kind of reacting to what's going on here and stuff like that.
Well, I have a question too about something that didn't make sense to me. So with the mom, right? So okay, she had cancer, but I thought there was going to be more to her character because the scene where they was asleep, and then the crawling zombie was about to get up on them, and then it cut to them getting up, right? So apparently she got up and she killed the thing, but didn't realize that she killed it. So I'm like, okay, well, there's reason why they showed that, but it's like no, the cancer made her do it. You know what I'm saying?
It was weird. It was weird because at first, before we got the reveal of like what's actually going on with it, I thought like, did this like virus like mutate and something like that, and just kind of give like regular humans like super strength or some shit like that, or just this is the new way that it's able to kind of infect people? Because that's what I thought like was happening, where it's not as like instant as like the rage virus. Like once a blood kind of touches you, it's just like it's like more of a slower process type of situation, which would be kind of crazy. And I thought like her turning or something like that in the village, and everybody have to be stuck on that island with infected and stuff would have been interesting and stuff like that. Maybe that's what they'll probably end up doing. Like I feel like somehow that island's gonna get fucked up or something like that, or there's gonna probably be other groups of people or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. But I still, I'm glad that it's still doing well. It's like it's doing record highs for the franchise. So even if it's a horror movie, I don't particularly am a fan of. I'm glad that it's still doing well because it just means that's just good for the genre overall.
Tony says facts with the butt naked women. Exactly. We're seeing more male frontals than naked women's anatomy, man. I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, like if I had to interview like Danny Boyle and stuff like that, I'm like, yo, what was your thought process? Like the meat shit aside, like what was your process when you were thinking about having that pregnant infected, just having this connection with Jodie Comer's character? It's just what was the point of that?
I was confused by that, man. And then like I said, the Eric character, when the movie wrapped up, you're like, okay, his character really served no purpose, but he had some comic relief though. Like the only time I heard the audience actually like laughing was when your boy looked at the picture of the girlfriend. It was like, well, yo, what's wrong with her face? And everybody started laughing. I'm like, okay, keep this guy around, but nope, they got him killed.
Yeah, and that's the only time we get like some type of information what's going on outside of the quarantine zones and stuff like that. Which I want to see more of that. I want to see what's actually going on and what does the rest of the world have plans for Europe and stuff like. Are they going to end up just nuking it? But it is also kind of fucked up that they just kind of left the survivors to kind of fend for themselves and stuff like. They pretty much kind of abandoned ship. I wonder if like if this is leading up for the virus to kind of spread beyond the UK and stuff like that, maybe we can kind of get um I don't know if they're gonna go beyond this trilogy and would do like a 28, or I could see them probably do more like prequel stuff or something like that, like 28 years ago or something like that. Or
Gosh, that's a thought 28 years ago. Shit.
yeah, just to kind of milk it.
I don't know.
But
I
yeah,
mean, after this one, I'm kind of done, man. Like, I have no desire to see where. I'll be honest, bro. Like, if they make another one, I'll watch it again, but only if it comes on streaming. I wouldn't go and sit in the cinema with some stank ass people to watch this shit. You know what I mean?
what would if you had the choice, what would you see over the other, Strangers Chapter 2 or Bone Temple? The 28 years later, Bone Temple.
Good question. I'll probably say Bone Temple. I'll probably say Bone Temple. Yeah, because I didn't like the movie, but at least it did have some qualities about it that I did enjoy. So on that strength,
Mm.
yeah, I'd rather see Bone Temple.
You think over time that's something you might like? You might come around like, all right, this movie's not as bad.
It's happened
As
before. This happened
mm-hmm.
before. You know, I've watched shit that I hated, and I still got to give Hereditary another watch because I absolutely hated Hereditary, and
Oh man,
people seem to love that movie. So I said, okay, let me give it a second watch to see if I really hated it as much as I thought I did.
I love Hereditary. Hereditary is one of my favorite movies of the 2010s for sure. I just like
I
this.
remember your review. Yeah, you love
Yeah,
that shit.
it's just like, and I still think it's like Ari Aster's best film. It's just like, but that goes to show you like Ari Aster, like in just his style and how different all his movies have been. For him to go from like Midsummer to just even going back to back like Midsummer and fucking Hereditary, that's pretty crazy.
Right.
Beau Was Afraid, that shit was just, that's another thing that like, I didn't expect that shit to go where it went.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to expect with this editing, the editing movie and stuff like that. But it's interesting now that he's kind of pivoted away from horror just this time around with one of his movies. But not here to talk about Ari Aster. Just wanted to say that. But final thoughts on 28 years later.
Final thoughts. Had potential. Started out great, and then it just limp dicked out later, man.
Yeah, nah, that's literally. Yeah, it's cool, but yeah, I think this year, or as far as this summer goes, like horror has been pretty strong. It's been pretty interesting. The next big horror movie, I don't know if you could really consider this. Now, this shit I don't really consider horror no more. Is like Megan. That's gonna be like the next big horror movie coming up.
Yeah. I'm going to an early screening of that on Monday.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So that might be the mystery movie coming up for this Monday. But I'm going to be seeing F1, the IMAX joint early for that on Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, they got a couple. They got like a IMAX screening on Monday, and then they have an early screening on Wednesday and stuff like that. So yeah, they're expecting probably that movie to be big and stuff like that. But next week I'll be back for the Perp Show, episode 2. We're going to be talking about Fantastic Four versus Superman, and just the summer blockbuster season so far, and just how it's getting kind of started. Yeah, I don't want to go too long. We're gonna go too long with this episode or with this presentation. I just wanted to kind of talk about Final Destination Bloodlines, bring her back, and 28 years later. I don't know when we're gonna do the next special presentation. Probably right before season 3 kicks off. We'll probably talk about weapons or something like that because that'll be in August and whatnot. And we also got I Know What You Did Last Summer also coming out next month, which I have no excitement for whatsoever. I was just like, this is just gonna be a rinse and repeat cash grab. I already know. I'm already setting my expectations to the ground and shit like that. But
I just want to see Jennifer Love Hewitt, man. That's the only reason I'll go see it because
She
she's
don't
my
even
crush.
look the same.
I mean, I think she aged really good. For a white girl,
Yeah,
she aged pretty good, man. Because white girls usually don't age that good, and I thought she aged
uh,
nice. You know what I'm saying? So I'll see
yeah.
this
She did
movie.
put some weight on. She did put
Yeah,
some weight
no,
on.
got
That's why I
that
was
weight,
like,
and I love it. I love it.
yeah. And it's just like, and I wish they would just do something crazy with this. Like, even if it doesn't really make sense for the franchise, so it's like go crazy. Just be like, yo, this whole time Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. like they're the killers or something like that now. Like, who
Right. I mean,
cares? Like, let's just do it.
I don't know. I don't know why they would bring that back. I don't know. I guess because Scream did so good, so I guess they said, well,
Yeah,
let's bring back another legacy franchise. And hey, I know what you did last summer.
yeah. Shout out to Terrifier, man. Like revitalizing slashers, man. It's
Exactly.
mostly Terrifier, and Scream. Like they really brought back, they really bringing back slashers in a way.
Facts.
Um,
Facts.
also, they have officially started filming Crystal Lake, so I'm excited about that. Not too excited how they've been rolling out like this whole Jason universe thing and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Seems very corporatized and stuff like that. I get it, like they want to just kind of plant the seeds, and I don't know why they would wait, like, or they would show Jason and that way, like their version of Jason in that way, and just have these video games and all this before he has this movie, and maybe it's kind of like some reverse psychology shit where it's just like, all right, we're gonna make all this merchandise and then come out with the movies later and stuff like that. Which I don't know, maybe this is like a method of their madness a little bit. They'll have the Camp Crystal Lake series come out, and then probably by like 2027, 2028, we'll get like a Friday the 13th movie and stuff like that with Jason. It'll probably not
Right.
be called Friday the 13th, obviously, because of the rights and stuff. They'll probably just call things like Jason this or Jason that, which
Uh-huh.
I'm cool with. I'm excited. I want to see where they go with this and what they do with this quote unquote Jason universe and stuff like that. What were you gonna
Yeah,
say?
but it's been too long, man. Like we've had a lot of fan films and a lot of Jason ripoffs, and so that they have the OG actually back, I think that would be dope. You know what I mean? 28
Yeah,
decades later. And even the Black Phone now, I avoid trailers, but I did see the Black Phone trailer, and I'm like, okay, they're going the Elm
looks
Street route
interesting.
here, huh?
Yeah. It was interesting because I was trying to avoid that because I was like, I don't want to watch no Blumhouse trailers because they be showing everything.
They showed, but it looks like they're going the Elm Street route, where it's like they're trying to make your boy Freddy Krueger, and
Yeah,
I'm digging that. I'm digging that.
yeah. I'm kind of liking that idea because it's like we don't know when we're gonna see another Nightmare on Elm Street, so we could get like a pseudo
Hmm.
version of that. Like I'm cool with it, but it's like I hate that it has to be Blumhouse, but maybe they'll be on to something because you got Stranger Things. They made their own kind of Nightmare on
Right,
Elm Street, and now
right,
you got Blumhouse. So maybe we'll start to see not maybe like actual Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but just kind of like knockoffs. Which
right.
I'm surprised people haven't done that more. You know what I'm saying? Like because we get so many Scream knockoffs, so many Halloween knockoffs, and like Friday the 13th. Nobody's ever thought like, yo, let's just make like rip-offs of Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff. So
Yeah. I don't know because I
they
think
might.
I think slashes are easier to pull off. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with Elm Street, Elm Street wasn't about the body count. It was more about the creativity of the dreams and the kills in the dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
Jason would catch like 15, 20 bodies in the movie. Freddy only gets like 3 or 4, but you remember all 4 of Freddy's kills as opposed to Jason because like them shit stand out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And with Jason,
I think
like he's
those are
got,
hard to pull off.
yeah, and like with Friday the 13th, it's just like you got multiple final girls, so it's like there's not really like a definitive,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I mean, and then it's like I said, it's hard to pull off because they with the remake, the 2010 remake, they tried to do Elm Street again, but that shit was unseasoned chicken. I hated the 2010
yeah.
remake. I hated it.
Yeah, and it had potential. Like I feel like just the aesthetic, like it didn't look bad. It's just like I don't think they needed to make a 1-to-1 remake. I think that's where they fucked up
Right,
with it. Like they should allow what's his face to kind of just do his own thing. 'Cause I think it would have been better if that was the case.
right.
But yeah, like I said, I appreciate people that pulled up in the live chat. You know what I'm saying? If you're checking this on the replay, hit that like button. Subscribe if this is the first time you're checking me out. Also go over to Rashad's channel, Rashad G Reviews. Check him out over there and show him some love. I will see y'all next week for the Perp Show. But yeah, I'm out.
Peace.